Hello, goddesses. Today is another free day, and we have a beautiful goddess with us. Imagine a life wherein you are the youngest gold medalist of your college, and you become the youngest AGM of your company. You are you get so many awards, so many accreditation, and you do this with a challenge which may not appear to you. It is the goddess with us is visually challenged, and in spite of that she has won so many laurels for herself and the family and the country. And allow me to welcome goddess Nikita Raut to our Planet Aphrodite with Meenal. Hello, goddess Nikita, how are you?
Hello, Meenal. Hi everyone, my listeners. Meenal, you and all my dear listeners are safe, and I wish everyone a very, very good health and very high positive spirits during these tough times.
Oh, that was so much needed, Nikita. So, goddess Nikita, tell us about how is your life. You have achieved a lot and you keep achieving a lot. And how is your life earlier? Uh, before the self love or before this discovery of being Nikita, how did the journey happen? Please take us, our goddess is there, and share with.
So you did mention to my listeners that yes, I am visually impaired. I was born as a third daughter to my parents. So it was a hope in the traditional Punjabi family that I belong to that, okay, so this time it's definitely going to be a son, a munda, So, but it was me,
Soni
a
Kudi.
girl. So for that, at that time it was just a kudi, and so except my parents, the other relatives in the family who propagated that you must have a son, so they were definitely not very happy. So it was around 8 months after my birth that my parents noticed that there is some abnormality in the way I look at things. So because my eyes are absolutely normal looking,
Right,
my
beautiful eyes
viewers
you
can
have.
see.
Right.
Thank you. So that's when they noticed that there is some abnormality, and they took me to the doctors, etc. And I was diagnosed. My parents were told that I am born without eyesight. I'm completely blind. Though I have my eyeballs at the right place, but there is no sight in those eyeballs. It was a big shock to my parents. Very, very shattered and broken they were. But then, soon after a couple of days, they decided that nothing doing. She is our daughter, and somewhat may, if God has given her to us, we as parents, it's our duty and responsibility to raise her just as we have been raising our other earlier two daughters, elder
Right.
daughters. So with that positive intention in mind, my parents had to focus, one on the treatment side, medically what can be done and whether can my eyesight be restored, and second on the upbringing side as to how do they raise a daughter who's completely blind. So what will happen with my education, what will happen when it was a very challenging time for them. So when I was a toddler, I knew for sure that there is something different in me, which probably makes me different from the other children. I was not very clear what blindness is actually all about.
Right.
I only began to know it when my parents started taking me eye surgery done and all. That's when I got to know, and I was matured enough to understand that yes, I don't have my eyesight. Yeah, मैं देख नहीं सकती.
Right.
It was difficult. I was a very, very sensitive child. As a child, I was extremely sensitive. I would cry very often, but I used to shed my tears a lot in the bathroom and come out smiling. So the days went on. Options that my parents thought of considering was to admit me into a blind hostel. Though they did not want to do that, but at that point in time, they did not know what is to be done. After looking at the environment there, it was so traumatizing for my parents that they, they thought that nothing doing, we will not be able to keep her in that hostel. We will instead, keep her with us and see if we can put her in an integrated school. An integrated, I mean a normal school. So it's rightly said, God helps those who help themselves.
Right.
And when my parents had this good intention, that's when, in the form of an organization, God sent us some angels, the National Association for the Blind, called as NAB. So basically, it's an organization which works towards the education and employment of persons with visual impairment. And one of the flagship, objectives of that organization was to encourage normal schools in the city to admit children with blindness. And that's when they helped my parents get me an admission in one of the schools named Indian Education Society, or commonly also known as the King George. I started going into that school. It was not very far from my house. I used to go by school bus, and of course, each day was a new challenge for me, my parents, my teachers, because in that school I was the first blind student to be admitted. So even the school staff did not know how do they handle a child with complete blindness.
Right.
I learned Braille. And Braille, by the way, is a lipi by which we read and write. But in my mind, I was very sure that, I have to definitely put in extra efforts because I cannot see. So even though as a little child, I was very aware of that fact that, yes, it's a challenge and I have to put in more efforts.
Right.
So I was, though I was very sensitive, but I was equally active and equally mischievous also. I was academically very, very bright. I used to be almost every examination, I used to be a top ranker in the class because I was, aware of one thing that, yes, I should be excelling in other things so much so that people, overlook my so-called physical impairment or the physical disability that I have.
Right.
So,
right.
Yes. So it was like that, and I was equally active in the extracurricular activities. So that was my formidable, my early childhood days. And then there were one or two such incidents in the school which, made me emerge very, very strong and leave my sensitivity aside and, emerge as a very strong person.
If it's okay for you, can you share those challenges, at least one challenge that changed the person who is so sensitive and, a very naughty and very studious girl into a very strong woman that you are today? Like, how do you grew up into this,
Right. So one fine afternoon, while we were waiting in the school for the bus to come to drop us home, something happened with the bus and it broke down. The bus did not come for an hour or so, and we kept on waiting, me along with the other children. And that time, those days you did not have mobile phones.
Right.
Even landlines were very rare.
Right.
An hour or so, we were waiting in the hot sun in the afternoon. And the moment the school bus came, my fellow classmates who were standing with me, they ran and went across the road where the bus was standing, and they boarded the bus. So usually what would happen is, usually somebody from the class while coming out would hold my hand and escort me to the bus. So everyone ran, and I was standing all alone. I could feel that there is no one around me.
You. Okay.
Yes, and I was dead scared. I could hear the bus engine also igniting, starting to leave for the destination. And I was crying. I started crying. I said, what will happen if I stay alone over here? What is going to happen with me? So I was sobbing like anything. And luckily, just when the bus was about to, leave, and while I was thinking that how do I dare to, cross that road where other vehicles are coming and get into the bus. Luckily, while the bus was leaving, the bus conductor, he saw me, from far away. And he came running to me and he's like, "Hey, baby, tum kaise reh gayi yahan pe?" So I was like, I said, "Main kya karu? Mujhe koi lekar hi nahi gaya." I was crying, so he held my hand and took me to the bus. and entire way, like around 20 minutes way to my house, was just crying.
Right.
And so he consoled me, but then I was unconsolably crying
Right.
because just that,
The very
it
thought.
I mean, the very thought that what
Yes.
would happen, and then even the thought that what will happen to me in the future if there is no one with me and I'm stranded all alone. I cannot see what will I do. Why? And then that was the first time when I even asked God that why is it on the odds that you have to give me this blindness?
Right.
I told my conductor that okay, my mother will come on the bus stop to receive me. Please do not let her know what had happened today and that I was crying in the bus. So he said, okay. My mother came to pick me, and the naughty boy, he told my mother that she was crying today in the bus. So, anyways, my mom asked what happened. I said, no, the bus got late and I was hungry, and I like to eat, so I was crying because I was hungry. So anyways, I came to home, and usually when I used to come to home, it was like I'm a tufani bacha, घर में सबको पता लग जाता था. But that day was different, and I did not really speak to anybody. I straight away went in my room, I locked myself up, and I was weeping all the while. And I don't know, I would have even written a couple of things to God. I remember I even wrote a letter to God that day. So whole day went like that. My mom noticed that there is something, and she kept on asking me. Yes. So ultimately, at the end, towards the end of the day at night, when my parents were sitting and I was lying down on their lap and I was crying. So of course, the first 5 minutes, it was a very emotional moment for my parents also. But for me, Meenal, my parents have been a biggest strength, especially my father. So he did a lot of counseling to me for about half an hour, and he made me understand that it's okay. So what? You are not alone. You have to find your ways out. And that night, I did not sleep at all. I did a lot of self-talk. I was just 12 years old. Today was the last day on the earth when I cried because I cannot see. And I also made my parents cry. Henceforth, come watch me. I am not going to cry and crib about my blindness. It is my life, and God has given me so many other things. My all other body parts are working, just that one pair of small part is not working. So what? No crying, no being sensitive. Okay, for 2 minutes, if there is something that bothers me, you just wait for that, think about it, and come out of it. So that's how it was. And thereafter, of course, there were a lot of other challenges, technical, educational, so and so. It went on like that. But yes, that was a life-changing day for me. The situation is not in your hand, but how you respond to a particular situation, the choice is completely with you. And that's what, make you the person that you are.
True.
So,
very, very, very well said, Nikita. Very, very well said. And there is always this question in the sighted people mind, like, how do you manage, like, you're married and you run your whole Baroda Academy, and then you run the household as well, So I'm just curious if you would like to share a few minutes on that, like, how do you manage things?
Sure. My office and my work front. So I work for a very, very brilliant institution, a very prestigious institution. It's a nationalized bank, and I work for that bank. It's been 10 years now. I was picked up from my campus as an HR professional. Technologically, I am able to use the computer, the mobile phones, etc., just as any other sighted person. The only difference is that the sighted people, they see those gadgets, they see the monitor or the screen, and we people who have visual impairment, we listen to it. Now, how do we listen? So for the computer, there are screen readers available. The popular one is called as JAWS, and on the mobile there are inbuilt screen readers. So what these softwares do basically is they read everything that you see on the screen or whatever you type in. Okay, so the
Okay.
input and the output is read to you. And I'm able to very, very normally, conveniently use an Apple iPhone. I'm using an iPhone right now. So, right from making calls to browsing internet to WhatsApp to Facebook, everything I'm able to use. And of course, in my office also, I'm able to use the computer just as any normal person. So whether it is drafting of documents, reports, reading, or anything, I'm able to do that. My management has been very kind enough to recognize my potential, my merit. In short span of 10 years, I rose to the level of assistant general manager. Last year, I got promoted as assistant general manager. And I
Congratulations.
also, thank you so much. And I have worked in different assignments, not just in Mumbai, even outside Mumbai, since, we have a policy of transfers,
So
etc. So I headed a couple of assignments, and but still there is a long way to go. Definitely
wonderful.
long way to go. There's
And
so much that there's so much that still I have to contribute to my organization, to the society at large.
wish
I
you
also
best.
am into. Sorry. Yeah. Thank
Wish
you
you
so much.
best.
Thank. Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks a lot. Really need it. Besides that, I'm also into music. I sing. I'm a trained classical singer. I used
Right.
to sing for All India Radio,
Wow, you
and
have such a sweet voice. Always,
thank you so much.
yeah.
And I also I am also a motivational speaker, and I love to inspire people or help people wherever I can. So that's about my work and my passion.
Right.
Now coming to my home front, I'm very happily lucky to be married to Mr. Vasant. Is my partner, and we call each other partner in crime, basically. And yes, I would like to inform my viewers that yes, there is a myth, or there is a common notion that yes, if you have a bodily impairment, it's difficult that somebody with a non-body impairment will sort of marry you. That my husband is bodily normal, so that's one thing, and it's all about how well you understand a partner. That's more
Right.
important than anything else.
Right. Very.
And as far as
Thank
the
you for breaking
yeah,
that myth. Many people have that. Thank you for breaking that myth.
thank you so much. And as far as my household work is concerned, yes, whatever little bit I had some hesitations with household. Thanks to this lockdown, it has been broken.
Lockdown has broken many myths and mental barriers in everyone's
Yes,
life.
yes.
That's true.
So it's all about your practice, your judgment, and there are so many simple techniques that help you do your work independently. While you're pouring the tea into the cup, how will you know that the cup is, the tea is coming to the brink, or the cup is getting full? You listen, you close your eyes and listen to the voice that the liquid is making into the cup, would automatically come to
Wow. I have to try that. I have to try that.
yes,
I'll do it and let
yes,
you know. Was I able
sure.
to do it?
So I'm equally fond of getting dressed and all. So I make sure that whatever I'm wearing, I dress up independently, and I have everything well coordinated. I mean, the jewelry, my handbags, etc. So only thing is, yes, when I buy things for the first time, that is the time when I ask somebody to describe me the color, the design,
Right.
etc. I
Right.
can find out by touch.
Touch it.
But the
Right.
color, yes, of course, somebody tells me, and then it's my responsibility and my duty to remember what color is it. So you have to by touch recognize the clothes. So I make sure that I don't buy things which are similar in touch. For example, if I have to put lipstick, so I will make sure that I don't buy lipsticks with the same shape of the bottle, or if at all
Right.
the bottles, the stick's shape is same, the bottle's shape is same, I'll make sure I'll either put some scratch mark, or I will remove the sticker or stick it somewhere else, or do something about it.
So
So
each is
it's all
unique.
about, each is unique, yes. So
Right.
then I know that okay, if this is my pink lipstick, this is a longer bottle, the red lipstick is a roundish bottle, the stick, whatever. So
Wow.
these are all your convenient tricks that you know use at home or in your personal life, just to ensure that how well can you be independent. And trust me, Meenal, it's not at all a big deal to not have one part of your body, because you have so many other things and so many other parts that you can really use. So you know the problem with we mankind is that we always focus or
On
we
what is
think and we talk about something which we don't have, which
right.
we oversee, or we you know tend to take things for granted
Granted,
about
what
the
we have.
things that we have, you know.
Wonderfully said. Very wonderfully said. I would like.
So my funda in life has always been, and good that I'm a banker also now, that I always like to capitalize on what I have, and you know how to make the maximum of it. You know, rather
ROI
than
should be
bothering
good.
so much about yeah, rather than bothering so much about what I don't have or what is constrained for me.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, one gem that you would like to offer to our goddesses, Nikita, one thing that, they may not be facing the same challenge, but something where they
Yes.
feel stuck or they are cursing God and writing letters. Why did you do this to us?
When I wrote that letter, you know, when I was 12 years old and I narrated that incident to you, that night I even got the answer. When I asked a
Okay.
question to God, that God, why me? Okay, I even got that answer also while I was deeply into maybe connection with myself or with my faith. And I got the answer that whenever there is a difficult task or a difficult or a challenging thing to be done, they would always want to give it to somebody who can really be best at, or who can really take on that challenge head on, right?
Right, right.
So you know he chose to give me that challenge because he knew I'll be able to do it. So it's more like
Yes.
a compliment that came to me from God.
Wow. The whole perspective, as you said earlier, it's not the
Yes,
situation, it's not the challenge, it's not the condition, it's how you take it, how you
yes,
perceive
yes.
it. Yes.
So whenever I even whenever there is a situation that haunts me times, any situation, it can be anything, right?
Right, right.
So of course the first reaction, human being emotional reaction, is that yaar ye kyun aa gaya, why me? That is okay, because he has that faith in me that I can do it, and that's why it's me.
Right.
So that is one. And secondly, the gem that you're talking about, so I always feel that there is one festival which we can celebrate every day, you know, Holi, Diwali, etc. There are specific days.
Right.
One festival that we can really and we all must celebrate every day is the life.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So
Wonderful. So,
yes.
wow. So, Dr. Christian Bernard had this statement in celebration of being alive,
Yes.
just
Yes.
you're alive, celebrate it. Yeah.
Yes. And of course, be thankful to everyone around you, to God, to everyone, and all the good things that are happening with you. Um, and in case if you feel that somebody or something is not happening the way you want, it's okay. I mean,
Right.
absolutely okay.
Right.
It's absolutely okay. So the
Right.
moment you stop taking people or things for granted, or the moment you stop expecting and you start accepting more, and then choosing to respond the way which is best for the situation, I think life is pretty simple and it is enjoyable. It's only we human beings which make it
Oh,
complicated.
right, right, right. That's amazing, Nikita. Thank you so much for your wisdom, for your candid sharing, for your inspiration, for simplifying life.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Where can our goddesses follow you, Nikita? On
Yes.
social
So
media, we
I think, I mean, whatever was there in my heart, I shared it.
thank
So
you.
where the listeners can follow me, so just a one-stop shop we have prepared for everything. And so I have my website, which is named as, the address is beingnikita.com.
Okay.
And that website has fewer details about me, my achievements so far.
Okay,
So rather
perfect.
than me telling individually, I think
Okay, so
yes,
beingnikita.com is the site
yes,
for you
yes.
goddesses. So go there, follow her, and get inspired, share your story
Yes.
with us.
Thank you
And
so much. And I still feel that what I have done is only the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more that I must do for myself, my people around, for the society at large, and for everything that I can.
you will, and we are following you.
Thank you so much.
We are cheering for you.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Goddess Nikita, for all your time and amazing podcast that we had today. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Thank you, all my viewers, also for your time. And it was really a pleasure for me to talk to everyone. And thank you so much. And I once again wish each one of you a very, very happy, healthy, safe, and positive times.
So, with that, we are wrapping up this edition. So, celebrate your life each day. Do not wait for any special occasion. Just celebrate your life each day. That's what our goddess taught us. And that's a big nugget. That's a big nugget there, you know. And in today's time, we realize the value of life. We realize the value of people. We realize of, like, suddenly we all have become so grateful because of this lockdown all across the globe, you know, and we realize we are all one. We are all in it together. So just celebrate each day. And with that, see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.